I am here today to go through a lower body workout with you. So let's go ahead and grab our weights and we're going to get started. The first set is going to be just traditional squats. So you're going to take your feet a little wider than your shoulders with your toes turned slightly out. Hold your weights down by your side and then drop down into your heels. We're going to do these repetitions nice and slow so you can be thinking about your form and your technique. I want you to think about keeping your torso lifted so we're not dropping the chest. Sometimes it helps to keep your eyes raised. That'll keep your chin lifted and therefore your torso raised as well. The other thing you can be thinking about is keeping your core muscles engaged. If your core is engaged, your lower back is going to be supported and your spine is going to be protected. So when you're doing your squats, you're working most of the major muscles around your hips and knees. You're working leg strength, lower body strength. So we're going to do one more squat here and then we're going to go to the next exercise. So you can shake that out a little bit. And next we're going to go to curtsy lunges. So I'm going to start you with your feet in the same position, about shoulder distance apart. Keep your torso tall. On the curtsy lunges, you're going to step to the back, bend both knees, and then come around and come through. We're going to alternate sides. So as you do these, you're going to work side to side nice and fluidly. I want you to step through, plant your feet about shoulder width in between each lunge. Now you want to make sure that this feels good on your joints. So if you're having some trouble with that crossover or curtsy lunge, you can go ahead and modify. You can start with the feet in the same position and you can do a rear lunge instead. So when you do your rear lunges, you're just stepping straight back. And again, it's going to work the muscles around the hips and knees. So we're keeping the torso nice and tall. Some other options you have is to do this without the weights. So just to show you, if you want to do without the weights, go ahead and just plant your hands on your hips and keep your repetitions going. So again, you're either doing the curtsy lunge or you're doing the rear lunge. We're going to do one more on each side, and then we're going to shake the legs out. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling that. You can always stop if you can't get through all the repetitions that I'm doing, but what we're going to do is go ahead and go into a second set, planting the feet the same way. Keep a tall torso, keep your chin lifted, and we'll go back to our squats. So again, with the squats, you've got your weight into your heels. Your knees should be behind your toes. So you can see when I go down, I'm getting as low as I can, and I still have the strength to get back up again. Keep the core strong, keep the shoulders pulled back, and keep your chin either level or slightly elevated. And the squats can be done without the weights as well. If you decide you want to just tone this down a little bit, go ahead and take the weights, set them aside, and you can do your set with your hands at your hips just like we did on the curtsy lunges. So we'll do one more here. Okay, and then shake it out a little bit. And again, we're setting up for curtsy lunges. So feet in the same starting position. You're going to step back, come through, keep the torso tall, and work fluidly from side to side. What I like to watch when I'm coming through each time is that I keep my feet parallel and about shoulder distance as I come through. You can glance down and then go into that next repetition. So we're going to do two more on each side. If you don't like the curtsy lunges, remember you have the option of doing those rear lunges instead. Okay, and then shake those legs out a little bit. Next, I'm going to have you grab a glider. If you don't have a glider, you're going to use a paper plate, and we're going to use a table, a countertop, or the back of a chair for support here. So I'm going to put my glider on the floor. I'm going to put my right ball of my foot on the glider. I'm going to keep my torso lifted. Now from here, I'm going to bend my left knee to glide that right leg back and then pull forward. As I pull forward, I'm engaging both my core and my left hip muscle groups. Keeping the torso nice and tall and the fingertips light. So the goal isn't to pull forward with the arms, it's actually to make the leg muscles work. That left leg is my working leg right now. Hopefully you guys are feeling this. We're going to do 2 more on this side and then we'll switch. You should get some nice hip flexor stretch back into that right leg. And then bring it up. Okay, we're going to do a foot change. So if you're on tile or a wood floor, paper plates work really well. You can do it on carpeting too, just use the shiny side of that plate. Now it's up to you how far back you're going to go. That's going to depend on a couple of different things. One is flexibility, and the other is strength. So you'll listen to your body on this. We always want to listen to our body. Make sure nothing hurts. You shouldn't feel any pain in your joints or in your muscles when you're going through these exercises. I want you to feel like your muscles are working, but it's not painful. And we'll do 2 more on this leg. I'm really thinking about pulling up with my right leg this time, and then we're going to come back to the center. So we'll come back to that glider in a minute. First, I'm going to have you grab your weights again. You're going to take your toes and turn them out wide this time. Keep your torso tall, and you're going to drop down into what we call a sumo squat. So with this squat, it's a little wider foot placement, but you still want to keep your weight into your heels. If it's uncomfortable to put the weights behind, you can go ahead and just put those weights in front. Another option on this one, some people like to put the weights up at their shoulders, if that helps you keep the torso lifted better. But it's the same idea as that first set of squats. Now you're going to work some inner thigh muscles here, as well as the hips, strengthening around the knees. And we'll do 2 more. Okay, and then bring the waist down, walk it in, give it a little shake out. And we're going to go back to our glider. So grab that paper plate or glider, stand tall, you're going to slide back. Again, it's the left leg that's doing the work as you pull up. We want to stay really light on the hands. As you get better at this, you may find that you don't need to hold on. But at first, I always give people that option because I want you to get the form down first. Make sure you're doing it correctly, engaging the right muscles, and then after that, you can take it to the next level. This is nice because you're stretching the right leg and strengthening the left. A lot of multitasking. So we'll do 3 more on this leg. Keep your core engaged. Every time you pull up, you'll feel your core working. Last one. Good, and then switch it out. So again, start with a tall torso. The ball of the left foot is on the paper plate or glider. Stretch it back. Really strong coming up. So this is our last set with the gliders. Make sure you're breathing. I usually recommend you exhale as you're pulling forward. So right here, I'm going to exhale. Inhale going back. And it's good just to check in with your breathing every now and then. Make sure you're getting the oxygen flow through to the muscles. Otherwise, they can't do the work we're asking them to do. And we'll do 1 more. And bring it in. Okay, so let's go back to those sumo squats. Again, with or without weights. Second and final set here. You're gonna keep the torso tall. I'm gonna go ahead and take the weights up to my shoulders because that's just my preference. And then I'm gonna drop down into the squat. You also wanna be mindful that you're putting equal weight on both legs here. Sometimes if you've had an injury, could be knee, hip, or ankle, you might tend to favor one side. So we want to make sure that we're working symmetrically, trying to improve our strength, in a balanced way. Balance out the body so it functions better for us. We're going to do 3 more here. Working a pretty slow pace so you can really get down into those reps and think about form. Let's do 1 more. And then we'll bring it up, bring the weights down, shake it out a little bit. So for the next set of exercises, you're gonna need 1 dumbbell. Keep that table handy. What we're gonna do here is a single leg deadlift, so it has a balance element. So I'm gonna have you start out with 1 hand right over the table in case you need it. You're gonna stand with your weight in your left hand. You're gonna put your weight on your left foot, bend that knee. So from there, the right leg goes back, you're gonna tip forward, and then pull up nice and tall. So as far as I lower my torso, I am bringing that leg up behind me. So this is gonna target hamstrings, glutes, and core. You wanna make sure that you get a good knee bend on the leg that you're standing on. It works really well to exhale right here as you're pulling up. So we're gonna do 3 more on this side. And 1 more. And bring it up. Okay, so we're gonna go to the other side. Now, if you do it with that table in front of you, that works just as well. So I'm gonna switch arms, switch legs, and then I'm gonna show you how to do that with the table in front. So again, I'm pulling up. I'm gonna tip forward the same way, and then pull up through. Now the leg that I'm standing on is the working leg. So that's what you wanna focus on. If your legs are getting a little shaky, that's okay. That means your muscles might be fatiguing, which is normal, they're working out. We want that. That's how we get stronger. Again, the core is a really important part of this movement. Make sure that you are holding strong through the core, through the torso. And we're gonna do 2 more. There you go. So those are balanced out. Now you're gonna go ahead and get your weights. And you have the option again, of course, of doing this with or without weights. But as I step away from the table, I'm gonna show you how to do a side lunge, stepping to your left. So you're gonna come off that center position, bend that knee, and then push back. Now again, I'm gonna try to keep my torso tall. As I bring the weights down, I'm not trying to touch them to the floor. I'm just trying to bend that left knee. So really working into the hip complex here. It's important to do side movements because most of the time, just functionally in life, we're doing what? We're walking forward and back, mostly forward in that plane. So we wanna strengthen our muscles through different planes of motion to keep the joints at their best. So we'll do 2 more here. Now you could do this without the weights. And again, just put your hands at your hips if you'd rather. And then we're gonna go to the other side. So step lunge, bend that right knee, and push. So here too, if you notice my feet, I am keeping my feet parallel. So rather than allowing that leg to turn out, keeping the hip nice and straight. That alignment is tricky sometimes when you're first learning this one, but it's really important in order to target the right muscles. So we'll do 2 more here. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to put one leg down, go back to our single leg deadlift and repeat. So I'm going to be on my left leg with the weight of my left hand, bend that knee, hinge forward from the waist, and exhale, pulling up. So you can challenge yourself. Maybe the fingers just hover over that table. Maybe you don't really need to use the table for balance, but it's there for you just in case. You're always going to take our workouts and use them to maximize your benefit, your fitness level. You can tweak and modify a little bit to make things harder or easier. You can use a heavier weight if you want to make this harder. Take the table away if your balance is pretty good. And we'll do 2 more here. And 1 more. Okay, and then I'm going to switch feet and turn. And I've got the other leg going back. Exhale, coming up. Bending into the right leg. Focusing on quads, glutes, hamstrings, and core. So this is our last set of deadlifts. Hopefully you're feeling your legs by now. And we'll do the last 2. Excellent. So let's go back to the lateral lunge. I'm going to shift no weight version this time, starting with the hands on the hips, going to the left. My feet are parallel. My torso stays tall. And I'm trying to get as much bend into the knee and hip here, but still track the knee behind the toes. Some people like to put the hands in front here. They feel more comfortable than, at the waistline. So if you want to try that, that's just another version. Keeping the torso tall. I'm really pulling my belly in and up as I do my repetitions. And we're going to go to the other side. So you're going to feel some stretch into the groin. That's normal here. I don't want you to feel too much stretch on the extended leg. So just enough that it's noticeable, but don't go so low that you feel it's overstretching. And if you haven't done an exercise like this, you might feel a little soreness tomorrow, but that's normal too. Good to stretch on the days in between the strength training sessions. And almost done. And last one. Okay, so shake that out. Just kind of be noticing how your legs feel. We have 1 more set of exercises, this time on a mat. So we are going to go ahead and lay down on the floor. I'm going to have you start just by pulling your knees into your chest. A little bit back stretch, a little reward from what you've been doing. We're going to set up for bridging. Your feet are going to be inside shoulder distance. Your arms are going to be down by your side. So you're going to pelvic tilt and lift your hips off the mat. Now we're going to hold that bridge, just pressing lightly into the arms. You should feel the strengthening up the back side of the body. These are good for the knees. Strengthening the glutes, strengthening the core. It's a back extension, so it's really good for your spine. You should be pain-free when you're doing this. If you feel pressure on your neck, lower a little bit and just modify so you're not so high. Otherwise, we're going to stay lifted. We're going to shift the weight into our right leg and extend the left leg out. Now, this is a little bit more advanced. If you want to keep both feet on the mat, you can. So you've got options there. Otherwise, we're just really pushing through, working that leg that's on the floor, trying to keep the hips level. And we're going to bring that foot down, shift your weight to the other side, and then you can extend this leg. So we're trying to keep our thighs parallel to each other. They're not touching, you still have space between the knees. The bottom leg is really doing the work to keep the hips lifted. Almost done. And then you're going to bring that foot down. Re-engage your glutes to lift your bridge a little bit higher. We're holding right here. Just go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and out. Real strong glutes and core. And the last 10 seconds. One more breath. And then you're going to try to roll down from the top of your spine down. When your hips are on the floor, you can pull your knees into your chest again. Get a little release across the lower back, maybe rock from side to side, feels great. Come back to the middle. You're going to either roll onto your side to sit up or use your legs to roll yourself up. And that completes the leg workout for today. So thanks for joining me. If you want to go through again because you haven't had enough yet, just go ahead and repeat this and you'll get a second round on that whole workout. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.